My name is Chris Salter. I'm the founder and creator of a music video game called Piano Wizard. I met Barry Spilchuk, maybe this is about almost 20 years ago in 2001. I joined an organization called IBI. It's now called CEO Space. It's an entrepreneur network where they really teach you kind of the prerequisites of capital and how to raise capital and kind of a cooperative model. Barry ran a number of different classes, niche marketing, developing a business plan. But more importantly, Barry did something called transformation, which was really a kind of, sounded very woo-woo, very touchy-feely. It was basically about getting the entrepreneurs out of their own way. I did not know I needed this, but I really, really needed this. I had a lot of trepidation, I had a lot of fear, I had a lot of self-doubt, that negative self-talk, that inner critic. And I also had some trauma. I had lost my sister to suicide, and there was a lot of anger in there over her decision. So I had to go in deep. I had to do some therapy, some inner work. Surprisingly, Barry conducted a number of these transformation classes. I went back to multiple forums, and I realized that Barry's work ended up really liberating me as a CEO to step into what was completely new territory, completely outside of my comfort zone. And all of your growth is. But I don't know if I would have been able to do that without some of the work that he did. And it wasn't just on me, it was on hundreds of other entrepreneurs. He's transformed thousands of lives at this point. He's a deeply wise and good person. And he's a great listener, right? I was just reminded of a quote, listen harder than you sing, from a choir director, right? And that's kind of Barry in a nutshell. He listens harder than he talks. And by doing that, he draws you in, and when he speaks, it's speaking to the part of you that's aching, the part of you that's hurting, and or just needs some advice. He's got a wonderful business mind, very, very smart, but he lands more because of his ability to kind of see where the actual conflict is. Most of the time we think it's about this other person, or we think it's about this marketing plan, or we think it's about this investor. It's actually internal. It's our own stuff. It's just making us hesitate, or much worse, making us literally sabotage our own success. So I had stuff like that going on, like almost all entrepreneurs, like anyone striving for something big has. Barry's a master dream facilitator. Really, a master dream facilitator. And I, years later, I recognized, and here's this guy who didn't necessarily connect me with the people I needed, or do this, that, or the other. But I gave him shares, stock options in my company, because I realized that without this guy, I don't know if I would have made it, even the first few months, let alone the first year. And each level, year after year, you have new challenges, new growth challenges. So Barry became a really good friend and mentor for me over those years. And we lost touch for a while. He stopped coming to that forum. I ended up myself not going as many times. And recently the founder of that forum, Mr. Bernie Dorman, passed away. And man, it hit us all, because the guy had been very, very impactful on us, inspiring. There was no day at the beach. He had his own magnificent flaws we had to kind of reconcile and deal with. And but we were grieving. And I was talking with my wife, and we said, we should just put a Zoom call together so people can get together and share great stories about him, right? And in that call, I called and reached out to Barry, and I hadn't spoken to him in a while, maybe a year. And I said, listen, do you mind if we connect on this, and if you can facilitate this call? He said, sure, I'll be glad to. Thanks for thinking of me. He's always so humble. do not underestimate Barry Spilchuk because of his humility. He's a wellspring of he channels things, right? Anyway, we got on that call. It was 3.5 hours, maybe 30 to 40 people dropping in and out, people that had just been invited literally on a Facebook post the day before, right? People were hurt. And I was so glad I had invited Barry Spilchuk to facilitate that. And he really, really he started us off with a funny story. He chimed in a few times, and then he closed the whole meeting in a way that I think we all felt a completeness. That it was a safe place. He was really great at that sense of sanctuary. When you talk to him, you know, this is going no farther. This is soul work, deep soul work. And so my recommendation, if you really have a friend who's been traumatized or going through a divorce or a tough marriage or death, or whatever, or a big business decision, or just finding themselves frozen, right? One of our fear responses, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. Barry's the guy that'll melt that ice and get you moving forward in a way that you can't predict, because he can't predict. He's really just kind of a very intuitive snoop into what's really going on. And for that, I'm deeply grateful for him as a friend. He's helped me. He's helped other people I know. He's, working with people as a coach, magnificent coach on all kinds of fronts. I think his biggest problem is his humility. He's too humble. He doesn't realize what a force of nature he truly is. And so when I was, kind of giving him a pep talk, he said, "Well, would you do me a testimonial?" I said, Sure. And I'm telling you, you will not regret hiring Barry Spilchuk to facilitate any difficult conversations you have to have, whether it's in a corporate environment, personal environment, you're alone, you're trying to figure this whole complicated world out, you're trying to figure out your relationships with your family out. This is a guy that's got a deep well of wisdom and a deep well of love and just goodness, right? And he's just a very wise guy, right? And I think of myself as being wise after many years here. But he's got a whole other well. There's a basement to his wisdom. It's just, like that joke. There's a lot more there. So my recommendation, if you're looking at this, is that you're actually thinking of working with him. Do it. Set something up as a trial basis, if you will. But you're going to fall in love with this guy. You're going to really feel breakthrough. You're going to feel unburdened. I had the thing with my sister that I had for almost 20 years by the time I talked to him, right? When we went through this transformation process. It was just in there, baked in, inhibiting me, holding me back, having me angry. He unlocked that stuff very quickly and very wisely. So that's my recommendation. If you're thinking of working with him because you're watching this, just do it. Just hire him. You will not regret it. And he can work with huge crowds. He worked with hundreds of people. He's worked with thousands of people over his career. He can work very well intimately. Couples, he has a whole coursework on relationships. He's a master. What they call a teacher of masters, as our friend Bernie would say. So with that, I wish you good luck in whatever your journey is and whatever your challenges are. But if you have Bernie at your side, or Barry, I'm sorry, Bernie's a friend we lost. If you have Barry at your side, you're just going to do better. You're just going to do better. Good luck.